Ladies and gentlemen, up next, we have a special guest for us today. We have Virginia General Assembly Delegate Lashrecse Aird. She was elected in November 2015 to represent the 63rd District, which includes all of the city of Pittsburgh, parts of Hopewell, Chesterfield, Dinwiddie, and Prince George's County. Good morning, Delegate.
Hi, good morning. Thank you so much for having me on the show this morning.
It's our pleasure. I'm thrilled to have you on. You know, I saw where our majority leader, our House Majority Leader, Kirk Cox of Colonial Heights, had said that he was so pleased to have you being assigned to the House Appropriations Committee, and just felt that your strong work ethic was vitally important to the committee, and that he looked forward to working with you on the Appropriations Committee and advocating for the Tri-Cities. So I guess my question for you is, first of all, what is the House Appropriations Committee for our listeners that may or may not know what the House Appropriations Committee does? And then number two, what are your goals in being on the committee to serve your constituents?
Yes, good. That's a great question, and it's certainly timely given that we've just completed the 2018 General Assembly session. I just want to reintroduce myself to the audience. Lashrecse Aird. I've been representing the 63rd District in the House for, this is my second term, so it's been certainly a exciting time to be involved in Virginia government. And my first session, I was appointed to the Finance Committee, and then directly following the House Appropriations Committee. As you know, the Finance Committee really is the counter committee to that Appropriations Committee in the House, where they find the money that I like to say that we spend. The Appropriations Committee pretty much develops the entire budget for the Commonwealth of Virginia, and during the General Assembly session, when there are different bills that are being considered by that body, if they have any type of fiscal impact and would require any spending whatsoever, we have to take a look at that bill to make sure there's actually money to fund it. And so for all revenue-related policy, we get to assess whether or not that moves forward. And unfortunately, we are a committee that tries to spend our dollars efficiently and prioritize where that money is going. And so if a bill doesn't pass, it could be sometimes because it has a fiscal impact. As it relates to my goals on the committee, really there is the makeup of about people who are from all parts of the state that are on that committee. And so we try and work together as much as possible. But I've been proud that in just 2 sessions, I've been able to secure dollars to go towards our school systems. As you stated, my district includes a lot of the Tri-Cities region, and so school systems that are in Petersburg, that are in Hopewell and Prince George and Dinwiddie, trying to make sure they have the resources for their teachers and our children. And that also includes K-12, things like financial aid for our colleges in the area. We have both Richard Bland, Virginia State, and John Tyler. And sometimes I've been able to get money specifically for the city of Petersburg when the local government is in need of specific resources. And so oftentimes my goal is to try and secure dollars that are beneficial to my district, but also that fit into the priorities that our chairman and, of course, the governor has set for the Commonwealth.
Thank you so much for that. And real quick, we have about 1 or 2 minutes left. What budget issues exist in Virginia that you see as a reflection of issues that other states have all across our country?
Absolutely. I think that's a really easy answer, actually, and we'll be going back to address this issue in Virginia on April the 11th during our special session. But I think it'd be hard to miss a discussion around Medicaid expansion and whether or not that moves forward in Virginia. It has significant implications on additional dollars we will be able to allocate to other priorities that have been laid out. But if we don't make a decision on Medicaid expansion, those things can either move forward strongly or won't have the resources to be implicated. So I think Medicaid expansion is probably the number one issue that we're facing. And the General Assembly will go back on April the 11th to open up that process again because we did adjourn without a budget this year, unfortunately.
Okay, well, and beyond the Medicaid expansion, what other issues do you see in Virginia that are really just a reflection of struggles all across our country that aren't necessarily unique to Virginia?
Sure. Well, I think if you think about questions about infrastructure, our economy, business, I think those are all intrinsically linked. Virginia has been trying to adopt policies that will go back to making us the number one state to be doing business. And I think you'll see that in other states across the country as well, just trying to figure out how to attract either new industry or new business in general to keep economies strong and to be able to have citizens be able to get jobs, really. I think that's something each state is struggling with.
Well, we have one of your constituents with us live in the studio today, and that is
how exciting.
Van Hardenberg. He's an attorney and a businessman in your district, in your geography. And so, Van, what are some of the issues that Delegate Aird should be mindful of as a businessman in this area, in this part of Virginia?
Wow, that's a great question. Well, first of all, good morning, Lashrecse. It's always good to be talking to one of my fellow Petersburgers.
That's right. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. I actually do have kind of a question. Anybody who has driven past Petersburg on Interstate 95 recently has seen that we have a building there that is being taken down, a former hotel right there at the intersection of the interstate and Washington Street, and then there's another hotel right on the other side that looks like that's about to be prepared for demolition. So I know that you're not part of the city government, but since this is one of the areas that's in your constituency, do you know what the plan is for those areas where those buildings are going down, and what do you see as the future of that entrance to Petersburg?
Sure, and thank you so much for the question. I would say that for some time now, the city has been working to use those properties to spur economic development. From what I understand, our new city manager has been having conversations with business entities to attract them to that gateway we like to call to the city. And while I can't name specifically what is going to be placed on those properties, I do know that the city manager has been has brought in her own economic development representative with the city, and they are working to attract two flagship businesses to go in those two locations. In terms of what I see as the future or the goal for that entryway, I think we've been talking about this for a long time. And even in the year before I got elected, there was a lot of conversation around putting dollars into that entryway, and so that when people first get off the highway, they have a positive experience in what they're seeing. They have access to really the heart of what Petersburg represents, whether that's signage, whether that's how cleanliness that area is, just all of those things. And so I think you're going to see a significant investment in that gateway, and I would agree with city officials that we need to take advantage of it, being that it is right off the highway on 95.
Great. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. I look forward to seeing you in the General Assembly, and thank you for calling in.
Yes. Thank you again for having me. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.